I'm a stay-at-home mom living with my baby daughter and husband. I have an older brother, and we've always been close since we were kids. Even now, as adults, we keep in regular touch, and I get along well with his wife, my SAL. Then one day, my brother got a job transfer. It was a shock for both me and my SAL, but since it was supposed to be temporary, maybe just a year or two, she decided to stay behind with their son. He was getting older, and thankfully, their house wasn't too far from ours. My brother would ask me to help out sometimes at their place, and since I had the time as a stay-at-home mom, I happily obliged. My SAL was kind and chatting with her was enjoyable. I thought it was finally my chance to help my brother since he had done so much for me over the years. There's a 10-year gap between my brother and me. He's always been a caring and gentle big brother. My SAL also had a job, and it seemed like she was struggling with both work and household chores. So, on weekends, I'd go over to help with chores or bring over some dinner. I had the time as a stay-at-home mom. But, things changed when we had our baby. I couldn't visit my SAL's place as often as before. Still, I'd call her occasionally to make sure she wasn't having any trouble. But, she started answering my calls less and less. I thought maybe she was just busy. But it was odd because she didn't call back, though she used to before when she had time. Though worried, I couldn't just drop by since I had to take care of my daughter. Then, one day, my brother called. "Hey, it's been a while."
Yeah,
"Beth, it's been a while. Sorry for the trouble with raising the kids." "No worries. How are you?" "Well, I haven't been able to reach my wife lately. I mean, she doesn't pick up sometimes, then she does the next day, it's weird." "Have you seen her recently?" "No, I haven't. In fact, I've been having trouble reaching her too. I've been worried about your wife." "I see. I'll go check on her tomorrow, okay? But, isn't it tough for you too? I think I can leave my daughter with mom for a bit. I'll talk to her about it. Maybe she's stressed with work or she's sick. I'll find out." "Maybe. Thanks, sis. Let me know if anything happens. But if it's too much trouble for mom, it's okay." "Got it. Leave it to me." So, I explained the situation to mom and visited their house the next day. Mom agreed to look after my daughter. "Thanks for this. Take care of our daughter." "No problem. Make sure to see how Bob's doing too." "I will." Bob is my brother's son, who's in middle school now. I hadn't seen him in a while, and I wondered if he was doing okay. Since it was a holiday, Bob might be at home with my SAL. Although I still couldn't reach my SAL by phone, I left her a message and headed to their house. But even after ringing the doorbell a few times, there was no answer. After a moment, Bob appeared at the door. "Oh, there you are. Thank goodness. You're Bob, right?"
yeah,
"What about it?" Looking annoyed, Bob, in a baggy sweatshirt and ear pierced, looked different from before. "Well, he's a teenager, so I guess it's normal." But, he always seemed quiet, so I was surprised. "Sorry for dropping by suddenly. It's me, your aunt. I tried calling your mom but couldn't reach her. I just came to check on you guys. Can I come in?" With that, Bob furrowed his brows but silently let me in. At least he allowed me inside. I peeked into the kitchen and saw empty cup noodles and sandwich wrappers lying around. There was also a lot of trash like empty cans and plastic containers, and garbage bags stuffed to the brim were scattered about. It was hard to ignore the fact that my SAL hadn't been keeping up with the housework. Even in the living room, there were cup noodle cups and snack wrappers left lying around, and the laundry was piled up high. To put it politely, it wasn't exactly clean. "Hey, Bob." I called out to Bob, who was playing a video game. "What's up with your mom today? Is she working?"
Dunno.
Don't know. Being just a new middle schooler, Bob probably didn't even have a cell phone yet. It seemed difficult to ask Bob to contact his mom. I thought I should at least find out how my SAL had been lately, but just as I was thinking that, the doorbell suddenly rang. Bob continued ignoring it and kept playing his game. Since there was no other choice, I went to the door to answer it, and there stood a man in a jacket. "Oh, good, you're here today. I'm Bob's teacher. We were supposed to have a home visit yesterday, but no one was home, so I came again. Can I come in?" "Huh?" "Sure." Feeling perplexed by the sudden appearance of Bob's teacher, I remembered the mess of the living room. "Oh. I'm so sorry. Can you wait for a moment?" I hurriedly tidied up the laundry and garbage, while Bob went back to his room on his own. "Hey, wait. Bob, your teacher's here."
Ugh.
"Sorry for the wait. Please come in." I seated the teacher on the living room sofa and was about to offer some tea when his words cut me off. "Bob's mom, his behavior has been quite concerning lately. He was caught smoking at school the other day. What kind of upbringing is he receiving at home?" Caught off guard by his sudden accusation, I was speechless. "His attitude in class has been poor, and he's been skipping classes more frequently. He's your son, right? You need to talk some sense into him." "Well, no, he's not my son. My child is only 3 months old, a daughter. He's my nephew, and today, for some reason, I couldn't reach my SIL, who's his mother, so I came to check on them." As I explained, the teacher widened his eyes in surprise, then seemed to understand. "Oh, I see. I'm so sorry, I had no idea. Actually, I've been having trouble reaching his mother too. Bob used to be diligent in class and never hung out with any troublemakers, but lately, based on his behavior, something might be going on. Do you think his father knows anything?" "My brother is on a job assignment, and he comes home maybe once a month, so I'm not sure. I'll try contacting my SIL again and ask her to get in touch with you." "I see, that would be helpful." With that, the teacher left. Meanwhile, Bob didn't come out of his room at all, and he didn't respond when I called out to him. I tidied up the room, did the dishes, gathered the garbage, and even vacuumed. I was worried about dinner too, but time passed quickly, so I decided to leave for today. Still no callback from my SIL. Since Bob was there, I left a note saying I'd tidied up a bit, then I spoke to Bob and headed back to my parents' house. I told my mother about what happened today. "I see, that's concerning. But smoking, where did he even get that? I guess he got it from hanging out with those delinquents. Should have talked to Bob though he kept silent. No point regretting it now. But hey, you should contact your brother too."
Yeah.
"I will. Thanks for taking care of my daughter." After returning home, I called my brother in the evening, and he picked up right away. "Oh, hey, bro. I went to check on SIL today."
Yeah.
"Thanks. How are my wife and son doing?" "Well, about that." And then I told him about Bob smoking, his behavior at school, the teacher's home visit, the messy house, and not being able to see my SIL. That's quite something. My brother seemed to ponder for a moment, then made up his mind. "Got it. I'll swing by tomorrow to check things out. I'll let you know if I find out anything new." "Gotcha." With that, although we were worried about my SIL and Bob, we figured everything would be okay if my brother was coming. Trusting in that, I decided to wait for a call from my brother. That night, as I was putting my daughter to bed and relaxing, I received a call from my SIL. "Hey, Beth? Sil. Thank goodness. I was worried because I couldn't get through." "Oh, sorry, I've been really busy with work lately. Anyway, you came over, huh? I was surprised to see the place all cleaned up. You should have let me know if you were coming." "Huh? Wait, did I call you before I came? Anyway, it's about Bob." "What about Bob?" "It seems like he's been acting up a bit at school lately, and his teacher came to visit." "So? Huh? Really? Sorry about that. Seems like he's going through a rebellious phase lately. Well, I'll talk to him properly. Thanks. Anyway, I'm going to take a bath, so talk to you later." Huh?
Um,
Wait, there's more. It's fine. I'll ask about it too. Well, talk to you later. And then the call ended. I couldn't help but feel a bit uneasy about my SAL, who seemed livelier than I expected, and her overly casual attitude. She used to love chatting and would have long conversations with me in the past. And being hung up on so quickly was unexpected too. Well, it was late at night, so maybe that's just how it is? But still, since it's about her son, shouldn't she be a bit more concerned and ask for more details? I was waiting for a call from my brother, but it didn't come even the next day. But I didn't want to push him, and I was busy with childcare myself, so even though I was concerned, I patiently waited. Then, after about a week, my brother finally called. Apparently, he returned home without contacting my SAL first. Of course, Bob, who didn't know he was coming back, was surprised to see him. And it was around 8 p.m., but my SAL still hadn't returned home. Where's Mom? Isn't it late for her not to be back yet? She's always like this. Says she's working, but she usually gets back around 10 p.m. That late? What about dinner? There's money left for that, so I buy and eat. Sometimes there's a stew or something cooked though. I see. There seemed to be such a conversation. While my SAL was indeed working, before my brother went on assignment, she used to come home around the evening, and her job wasn't supposed to be that demanding. In any case, realizing that Bob was being left to his own devices, my brother apologized to him for not understanding anything. Bob seemed a bit sullen, but he apparently answered his questions properly. However, according to Bob, his mother might not actually be working late, because when she did come home late, she was in a good mood and often brought gifts for Bob. Since my brother went on assignment, she seemed lonely, and she used to like spending time with Bob and wanted to have meals together, but now they rarely ate together. Still, whenever my brother called my SIL, she would say, "Huh? Nothing's really changed. Bob's doing well, and you take care of yourself. Let me know when you're coming back." And then hang up. Anyway, it's partly our fault that our son got into trouble at school because we weren't doing our job properly as parents. From now on, I'll take care of it somehow, so you don't have to worry. I'll report back later. With that, my brother hung up. I had a bad feeling about something, but I decided to trust my brother and wait for another contact. And then, one day a few weeks later. "Beth, I'm thinking of going to my parents' home next weekend. Can you make it?" My brother suddenly sent me this message. "That's quite sudden. Is something up?" "Sure, I'll clear my schedule. Thanks. I'll tell you all about it when the time comes." And so, on Saturday, leaving my daughter with my husband, I went to my parents' house where my brother was waiting. It's been a while since we were all together. There's food prepared, so go ahead and eat for now. We enjoyed our mother's cooking together and chatted. And finally, we got down to the main topic of this gathering. You know, it's about my wife. Lately, she's been coming home late, neglecting chores and all. It's been affecting our son, and she seemed to be hiding something, so I did some digging on my own. And what I found out was unbelievable. With that, my brother pulled out a thick envelope and placed it on the table. From it emerged photos of my SAL arm in arm with a man I didn't recognize. Photos of them going to the slot, entering hotels, photo after photo. As they kept coming out, neither I nor my parents could find the words for a while. While my parents were quietly venting their anger, I was filled more with disbelief than anger at the fact that my kind SAL had been cheating. After hearing from my son, I went to a private investigator. Seemed like even my son had some suspicions. So, what's the plan now? Well, now that it's come to this, I think divorce is the only option. But what about Bob? Even if you take him, he'll have to change schools. Plus, you've got work. Can you take care of Bob while juggling work and household chores? We'll have to figure something out. You, come back here. I'll take care of Bob. You focus on sorting out your job and coming back. My brother nodded at my mother's words. I've actually already talked to my boss about it. Since I'm planning to get divorced, I asked if I could be transferred to another department. Huh? You can come back? I think it'll be okay. They told me to do my best to sort things out and that I could even take leave until everything's settled. So, I'm planning to talk to my wife about it tomorrow. Beth, you've talked to Bob's teacher before, right? Sorry to ask, but could you also be there for the explanation? Me too? Sure, got it. Honestly, imagining the ordeal to come was a bit daunting, but it was for the sake of my brother and Bob. And so, I found myself attending that discussion as well. The next day, my brother must have told her that he would come home in advance. When we rang the doorbell, my SAL greeted us. Welcome back. Oh. Beth's here too? Seeing me, who had come with my brother after staying at our parents' house, my SAL widened her eyes in surprise.
Yeah.
We've got something to talk about. Is Bob home? Bob went out with his friends since they had plans. I see. Well, come on in, Beth. We were led straight to the living room, which was now tidied up compared to before. My SAL brought us some tea, and the three of us sat down. Hey, it's about Bob. Remember when Bob's teacher came by? Did you get the full story from Beth? Oh, that? Bob's been acting up, right? He even got his ear pierced. Well, he's a middle schooler, so isn't that kind of normal? Acting up. Beth, can you explain in detail? And so, I recounted how Bob had been caught smoking, skipping classes, and more. My SAL seemed taken aback and started getting visibly upset. Smoking? Unbelievable. What's gotten into that kid? Have you not talked to Bob properly? Huh? Yes, of course, I have. I see him every day. Then where did Bob go today? When will he be back? He's not the kind of kid to tell me all those little details. What did he have for breakfast then? What did he eat for dinner last night? You don't know, do you? You're not even taking care of household chores properly. You come home late at night. Bob told me everything. No, it's just work. As my SAL faltered, my brother placed the envelope he showed us yesterday on the table. Take a look. With a trembling hand, my SAL opened it and let out a short gasp as she dropped its contents onto the table. There were photos capturing my SAL's affair. My SAL, too stunned to speak, stared at the photos. Not doing chores, neglecting Bob, and having an affair. I can't live with you anymore. Please, let's get a divorce. With that, he took out the divorce papers. His signature was already on them. No way, we're not getting divorced. And don't act like you're innocent here, leaving everything to me to handle. Your long business trips dragged on way too much.
Yeah.
Maybe if I could have come back more often, this wouldn't have happened. Exactly. So it's not all my fault. But I still made an effort, calling you often and asking Beth to check on things occasionally. And what do? You don't even answer the phone and end up cheating. Well, you see. You always said, there's no problem, don't worry, and I believed you. I trusted those words. I'm sorry. But divorce. It's already decided. And I know the guy on the other end too. I'll be asking for compensation. I'm not telling you to break up with him. Do whatever you want. My SAL stayed quiet for a while, but she must have realized my brother was firm in his decision. Or maybe she was infatuated with her lover. I don't know, but she reluctantly signed the divorce papers and promised to pay compensation. She easily gave up custody of Bob, who ended up with my brother. Maybe she really liked her lover a lot. Thinking about it, it's sad. And she paid compensation according to what she could afford. My brother's transfer went smoothly as his boss said it would. He went back to our hometown and started living with our parents. He said he wanted to spend more time with Bob from now on, with fewer overtime hours and no worries about relocation. It seems he managed to transfer to a department where he could do just that. As for my SAL, well, she started living with her lover afterward, but it turns out he had a drinking problem and was an abusive, violent man when drunk. They ended up breaking up within less than a month. I feel sorry for her, but, well, you reap what you sow, I guess. Bob started living with our parents and stopped hanging out with bad friends. Now, for some reason, he's really into chess and spends every night playing with grandfather, enjoying their time together. Our family continues to live happily together. I hope Bob, my brother, and our parents can all live happily from now on.